Ready for it.
Thrilled for it.
Presenting Franks with Turbo Booster Jet Engine.
I'm thinking slightly on a broader perspective that once they decided that we are going to go all Indian batting lineup, in which Samson is the most experienced and the oldest, with Shimron Hetmeyer slated to bat lower down the order, the only overseas batting option available. Is that even a viable option? Because we say, okay, it's a young man's game. Fine, you put all of them together, they're all talented, they're all skillful. But if you put all of them together, and not a senior statesman in the side, something that Josh Butler used to do till last year. Is that even a viable option? And that is when you start thinking about even the Indian T20 team. So you still need a Surya Kumar Yadav to handle whoever else is around him, before him, after him. Hardik Pandya comes and gives you some amount of stability. This kind of performance is almost it's representing what the youth can actually give you on a day when everything goes wrong. Of course, what Vaibhav Suryavanshi will give you is also what youth can give you one day. But there are two very drastically opposite ends of performances, which can happen with this team when you have only the youngsters and not really a senior guy to hold it together.
If you look at the five retentions, so there's four Indian names you mentioned plus Hetmeyer, I think they invested 75 crore in those five.
You throw in Sandeep Sharma, and it's 75.
And the budget is 120. So they've already said at that point that we're a strong batting side, this is our core, and therefore the gaps you need to fill are in the bowling attack. And the bowling attack has been so poor this season. I know Jofra Archer's been pretty good, he's grown into the tournament, but across the season there is one bowler in the Rajasthan squad who has an economy rate lower than 9, and that's Rian Parag.
Gun batting lineup. Okay, this is where we are actually going, but then you should have a batting lineup that can bat till 8 or 9, right? I mean, you haven't got that right also. And there was one big hole last season that they didn't have an all-rounder. The only team that was not actually using the impact player, or rather having an impact player but not having 6 bowling options, was Rajasthan Royals. That they didn't have the 6th bowling option ever. Now Rian Parag is giving you a couple of overs, but then is that your best 6th bowling option? It is not.
We go back to who their bowlers were last year.
Exactly. So
Chahal, Ashwin, Bolt.
So I thought that they'll fix that problem, that, okay, we need a bridge, somebody who can bat and bowl. We'll get an all-rounder in the auctions. Again, they didn't go in that direction either. So what they didn't have, they didn't try to acquire. What they did have, they thought that they'll get it in the auction, and they still haven't got, which is their bowling department.
They have one good bowler, and the one they've spent the most money on is Archer. Unfortunately, their Indian pick didn't go right. Tushar Deshpande was benched this particular game. He was bought for a lot of money, 6.5, 6 point something, if I'm right. But then again, you had 3 plus 1 something that you invested on 2 more batters, which is Nitish Rana and Vaibhav Suryavanshi. And that's where, how much ever I think, I would have still not bought Vaibhav Suryavanshi for 1.1 and 3. I would have invested that money in a couple of good bowlers. You would have had bowlers for 4, 5. Look at that bowling. Last year, you forget 2 other big names. You've got Avesh Khan, got Chahal, you've got Ashwin, you've got Trent Bolt and Sandeep Sharma. These are 5 bankable, proper bowlers.
Barring Ashwin, all of them are performing this year. Right?
So you've got... Ashwin did a role for RR, which was a defensive role whenever it mattered. And Avesh bowled death. Sandeep was there, he was bowling the middle overs, and Bolt was bowling with the new ball. So that's a well-rounded bowling lineup. So you eventually get at least 2 or 3. You've decided to not retain any bowler, then you are facing the wrath of...
There is a big decision now, I guess, which will be analysed and thought of. Was it simply the question of Jurel? While he's a fine player, this team had Sanju Samson. So you've got an Indian keeper batter and a captain there. Forget the injuries and all that, you wouldn't have thought. We're going back to auction time now. So you're taking a very big call when you're saying 14 crore Jurel and then throwing in a Hetmeyer on top of that. Let's say you go slightly lighter. Even if you can understand, say 3 selections. Could that have been given them a better chance of getting one more overseas strong bowler? Possibly a Josh Butler, or at least one of the premier overseas batters that they're lacking. Did that one big decision of Jurel or Jurel plus Hetmeyer lead to everything?
I think Jurel plus Hetmeyer.
Okay.
Because Hetmeyer, if he were, and that's how you actually judge. Okay, if this player was available in the auction, how much I would have spent to acquire him? I don't think Dhruv Jurel would have fetched 14. I don't think Shimron Hetmeyer would have got 11. So if 25 crore and you think that that was worth on at the auction table, maybe say around 15, 16, 17 put together, you still free up 8 crore rupees. And then, in fact, I would also invest in the two Indian bowlers, spinners rather. Get the spinners, they have to be Indians. Most of the times, unless of course there is Rashid who was taken. Most spinners are generally very expensive. If you're looking at Chahal, you can't get him again. That's 18 crore. Noor Ahmed was one guy that they could have gone for him. They didn't really target him. They went for Wanindu. See, Wanindu is a phenomenal bowler for Sri Lanka in T20 cricket. But his returns in the IPL are very middling.